I'm James Sims, this is BroadwayWorld.com, and I'm here with Avenue Q co-creator Jeff Marx, who just made a rather long trek up here to North Hollywood, which is just outside of Los Angeles, from San Diego. That must be a long drive. How do you like it?
Oh, it was wonderful. In a convertible? Are you kidding? It was great. I was listening to my iPod, had my shirt off.
Very nice. So we're going to talk a little bit about Avenue Q and how it all came to be.
Okay. How do I go back to college? I don't know who I am anymore. I want to go back to my room and find a message and dry erase pen on the door. Oh, 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 I wish I could just drop a class or get into a play or change my major or fuck my TA. Can I say that? We need an academic advisor to point the way. Bobby and I wrote songs for the musical episode of the NBC show Scrubs, the Zach Braff show, and they called us up because they knew Avenue Q, and so we wrote the songs in New York, but it was like rush, rush, rush. This is what TV is like. And then I came out here to work with the actors in the studios. They were recording the tracks to sing along to. And I just loved it out here so much. I rented a Mustang convertible, and that was just sort of the end of me. I was just like here for good. That was weirdly unrelated to us. They didn't hire her because of us or us because of her. Deb Fordham, who wrote that episode, had followed Stephanie forever, like a stalker actually, from show to show, and just really wrote the episode for her, with her in mind as the patient. And then when they thought about getting songs, they thought about us because Bill Lawrence, the creator of the show, is a big Avenue Q fan. He saw it early on, and in fact he had the CD and burned it for everybody, and everybody seemed to know it through him. So when I was there in the studio, everybody walked in and went, "Oh, you're the Avenue Q guy," and I was like, "Oh my God, you all know Avenue Q? That's so cool."
If you were gay, I'd shout, "Hooray!" I am not and here I'd stay, la, 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 la. But I wouldn't get in your way.
The critics liked the show off Broadway. That didn't mean that we should move to Broadway. The Michael Riedels of the world were very clear that they, thought it was a terrible idea, that it was an off-Broadway show and should have stayed off-Broadway. Everybody seemed united about that. I read BroadwayWorld and all that chat too. And yeah, it was, very disheartening. It was the most exciting thing in our lives when our producer said, our run here at the nonprofit is ending because they need to bring the next show in. It's a subscription theater, and we're being kicked out. But we think the show it's proved that there's an audience for it. That's proved that the critics like it, and we think it deserves to have a bigger life. And we're moving it to Broadway. And this was the biggest deal in our lives.
That is gross. You're a pervert.
Sticks and stones, Kate Monster.
No, really, you're a pervert. Normal people don't just sit at home and look at porn on the internet.
Oh?
What?
You have no idea!
When our producers were negotiating, were preparing the tour, Steve Wynn went to them and said, I'll pay you a lot of money to do it exclusively in my hotel. They kept saying no, for various reasons. He wanted it to be shorter, he wanted it to be this and that, and they kept saying no. And he kept saying, well, what can I do to make it more attractive to you? And they said, well, we would never do it. We would never do a short version because our authors have the final word, and they would never do that. And they knew that as they were negotiating the tour, some of the venues around the country were objecting to some of the political, the Republican stuff, the George Bush stuff, some of the language, and some of them had actually asked our producers to clean some of that stuff up, and they were like, no way. So we're going to have to skip over some cities. When we got there, it was a little bit of a slow start. And there's a million reasons why it didn't fly. One of them is that the marketing couldn't quite be as sexy as we wanted it to be. One of the things that we wanted to do was they have people with little cards out in front for prostitutes or strippers. I'm not sure. Maybe it's both. And we wanted to have a Lucy the Slut, a guy with Lucy the Slut cards out there, and he was like, Steve Wynn said, no way, this is a classy establishment, no prostitutes, no prostitute overtones, no strippers. It's surprising he allows gambling in his hotel. He wanted it to be very clean. So our promotion ended up being pretty much see what all the fuzz is about, and that was limited in intriguing, in being, in pulling people in.
The internet is for porn.
Sorry, Kate.
The internet is for
I
porn.
masturbate.
All these guys unzip their flies for porn, porn, porn.
Not for porn.
Porn, porn. Internet is for internet is for internet is for porn.
Steve said the problem is he brought all of his business people in to see it, and they all agreed that the problem is it was just too long. So he said either you cut it down to 90 minutes or we're going to close. And we thought, we rehearsed it, we got it up, all of our actors are, they have jobs, we're not, we'd throw them out of work if we said, no, screw you, we're not changing it. We'll do what we have to do to keep it open. Having, trimming out 12 minutes is better than, closing. At least people will come get to see the show. We'll save the show. So our Save the Show campaign, kicked in, and we did what we could. We took out the intermission, and then we cut out, I think, I don't even remember, but we cut out one song, and then we moved another one, and we just kind of made a little bit of bridge, and we cut out one scene, and then we took out the bridge in Schadenfreude, which was straight-A students getting B's, and actually that change we liked so much, that song being a little bit shorter, that we ended up cutting that bridge permanently. We took it out of London, we took it out of Broadway. That bridge is now on the album, but it's not in any of the shows. It went great. It went really great. Our Kate Monster and our Trekkie Monster from Vegas are in the tour. Kelly and David Blight, and Christian Anderson was on Broadway, and Rob McClure, sorry. No, Don McLean sang Vincent in American Pie. Rob McClure is playing, who actually, this is a funny story. He saw it off Broadway, loved it, was like getting an autograph outside the door, and then flash forward a couple years later, he's playing Trekkie Monster on Broadway. Flash forward a little bit later, he's playing Princeton in the tour. Next thing we know, we'll be playing Kate Monster.
Everyone's a little bit racist, it's true. But everyone is just about as racist as you.
No, you know what? No. When we went to London, we fiddled with just a couple little things, very little, really just at the end of a scene, what music was going to go into the next scene. We changed a couple things there, and we changed a couple lines, but we changed about 1% of it, if that. And then after using what we learned and what we liked from the changes in Vegas, and in Vegas, when we brought it down to 90 minutes, we took a little line there and a line there, and taking what we liked from there, what we liked from London, we put those changes into Broadway, and that version is exactly what's on tour, no changes. The sun is shining, it's a lovely day, a perfect morning for a kid to play, but you've got lots of bills to pay. What can you do? You work real hard and the pay's real low, and every hour goes on so slow, and at the end of the day there's nowhere to go but home to Avenue Q. You live on Avenue Q, your friends do too. You Avenue Q. You live on Avenue Q. You live on Avenue Q.
Avenue Q, the national tour, started in San Diego last night, just had opening.
Wonderful.
And it's going to be coming up to San Francisco next.
Yep.
And then it's coming right here to Los Angeles. It's going to play at the Amundsen Theater as part of their next season, and it starts in September. So everyone check it out.
September, October. Go see it. When I was little, I thought I would be, what? Never a Broadway writer, but maybe an actor. But now I'm 36, and as you can see, man, oh, cool. It doesn't suck to be me. It sucks to be me. It sucks to be broken, unemployed, and turning 33. It sucks to be me. That's what we were when we wrote this. It was all about us. I'm kind of pretty and pretty damn smart. You are, thanks. I like romantic things like music and art. This was our friend Kate Guyton. And as you know, I have a gigantic heart. So why don't I have a boyfriend? Fuck, it sucks to be me. It sucks to be me. It sucks to be something, 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 something. It sucks to be me. See how well I even know our own material? Oh well. Everything comes down to poo, whether it's a tumor or a touch of the flu. We can figure out what's wrong with you by looking at your poo. Do you have a hemorrhoid? Something like that.
Very cool. Very cool.